the Young and the Restless spoilers. Full welcome back to our channel, fellow Genoa City gossips. Today is a beautiful day to dive into the absolute madness of our favorite show. We are so thrilled you are here to unpack every single jaw-dropping, heart-pounding moment with us. Grab a massive cup of coffee, or maybe a glass of wine, because we have a ton to talk about. I am literally screaming at my television screen right now. I cannot even begin to process the sheer adrenaline of what just went down. I mean, we all know Diane Jenkins Abbott is a survivor, but what she just pulled off, absolute, undeniable television gold. I am typing this up late at night. My hands are actually shaking over the keyboard, and I am far too wired to even think about sleeping. She actually did it. She took him down. Okay, wait. I am getting way too ahead of myself here. I need to take a deep breath and back up, because we really need to talk about the entire sequence of events. This episode was a psychological roller coaster from the very first second to the last, and I need to get all of these thoughts out of my system before I explode. Let's start with the snooping, because Diane is trapped in this incredibly creepy, barred house, and she is entirely cut off from the world. Doctor. Lawrence Markham leaves her alone for, 5 minutes? And what does our girl do? She doesn't just sit there crying on the bed. No, she goes full-on detective mode. She is rummaging through his belongings, tearing through drawers like her actual life depends on it, because, let's be real, it absolutely does. And then she finds it, a phone. I swear, my heart was pounding out of my chest right along with hers. I was sitting on my couch, yelling, "Call Jack, call Kyle, call the GCPD right now." But of course, because this is a soap opera and the writers love to torture us, the phone is locked. A passcode. Are you kidding me? I swear, in moments like this, I deeply miss the days when Kevin Fisher could just magically bypass any digital firewall in 3 seconds flat. But Diane is stuck. She is holding this tiny, glowing lifeline in her hands, and it is basically just a useless plastic brick. The frustration on her face was so real, and then the ultimate terror hits. You hear the sound. The doorknob turns. Markham is coming back. The sheer panic in that moment. You could see the absolute terror in Susan Walter's eyes. But then the switch flips. And you guys, this is exactly why I have been watching this show for years and years. This is classic, vintage Diane Jenkins. She hides the phone in a split second, and before that door even swings completely open, she transforms. When Dr. Markham walks back into that room, she is no longer the terrified, desperate hostage. She has completely changed her clothes. She has smoothed out her hair. She has fixed her posture, and she is playing the role of the compliant, broken, recovering patient to absolute perfection. I mean, someone give this woman an Emmy right this second. She looks this absolute creep dead in the eye and starts feeding his massive ego. Oh, doctor, Markham, I am feeling so much better today. I really do see now that I need psychological help. I was gagging. It was so hard to watch her demean herself, but it was also so incredibly brilliant. She knows exactly how arrogant this man is. She realizes that the only way to beat a narcissistic, corrupt, power-hungry psychiatrist is to make him think he is the absolute smartest person in the entire room. So she just keeps going. She starts praising his methods, telling him how much progress she is making under his specific, brilliant care. She acts like the hospital environment was the problem all along, and that his genius intervention is saving her. And you can see Markham just eating it up. He is literally puffing out his chest, smiling, that smug, sickening smile of his. I know some people out there in the fandom absolutely hate Diane and think she is just a toxic manipulator who ruins Jack's life. But personally, this is when her manipulation is an absolute superpower. She is using her toxic, scheming traits for survival. She is playing 4D chess while this guy is playing checkers. But then comes the absolute masterstroke of her plan. Markham has been pushing to move her to some new clinic. Now, we all know if she goes to a clinic, she is completely off the grid forever. It is probably some underground, padded cell nightmare facility run by Patty Williams, for crying out loud. So Diane fakes a panic attack. She literally starts gasping, clutching her chest, and talking about how clinical environments trigger her severe anxiety. She actually begs him to let her stay in his private home for her treatment. Please, doctor, only you can help me here. The clinic will ruin all my progress. It will send me spiraling backward. And this absolute fool, this arrogant, overconfident man, actually agrees to consider it. He thinks he has completely broken her spirit. He thinks she is suffering from some extreme case of Stockholm Syndrome and that she is now entirely dependent on him. He has no idea that she is just buying herself time. She is lulling him into a false sense of security, making sure she stays in an environment where she actually has a fighting chance to escape, rather than being strapped to a gurney in some nameless medical facility. Let me just go off on a quick tangent here, because I cannot stop thinking about this. Am I the only one who is entirely convinced that Dr. Lawrence Markham is actually Martin Laurent in disguise? I mean, think about it. Diane already noticed Dr. Alan Laurent's books sitting right there on the shelf in her room. We know Patty Williams paid this doctor off with a massive envelope of cash in the park. And we all know Patty Williams knows a thing or two about plastic surgery and stealing identities. Remember when she completely altered her face to become Dr. Emily Peterson? Yeah, exactly. Didn't work out great then, but Patty is obsessed. If she helped Martin Laurent get a new face so he could pose as Markham, then Diane is dealing with a seasoned, terrifying psychopath. Okay, back to the point, because my brain is spinning with theories. So Markham is standing there in the room, probably daydreaming about the massive cash payout he is getting from Patty, completely and utterly underestimating the fiercely intelligent woman standing right in front of him. Diane is playing the submissive, grateful patient. She is nodding, she is smiling softly, and then, bam! I don't even know where she got the stick. I literally do not care if it was a piece of a broken chair, a random piece of firewood, or a curtain rod. She grabs this heavy wooden stick and she swings it with the force of 1,000 angry abbots. She clocks him right in the head. The sound it made, he goes down like an absolute sack of potatoes. Down for the count. I jumped off my couch. I threw my hands in the air, and I was cheering in my living room at 2 in the morning. It was so incredibly satisfying. After weeks and weeks of watching Diane be a helpless victim, locked in this dark, depressing room, completely confused and drugged, she finally took her power back. She didn't wait for Jack to ride in on a white horse. She didn't wait for Kyle to figure out the clues. She took a giant stick and she handled her own business. I am so here for action, hero, Diane. But now I am sitting here biting my nails because what happens next? Markham is unconscious on the floor. Diane has the locked phone. She is still physically trapped inside this house with barred windows. And meanwhile, her husband Jack is back in Genoa City, completely falling apart and being ruthlessly blackmailed by Patty Williams. Can we please talk about how utterly disgusting Patty is right now, showing Jack that staged, horrifying photo of Diane lying unconscious in a white padded cell, telling him that Diane had a complete psychotic break, and then demanding that Jack sleep with her to get the information. Let's find that magic we had on the yacht. I am sick. It is so repulsive. Jack is terrified. He is panicking, and he is so desperate to save his wife that I am genuinely terrified he might actually give in to Patty's sick demands. Jack and Kyle are running around in circles, dealing with Detective Burrow, getting played by Patty, and they are completely clueless about the fact that Diane is out here doing the heavy lifting and taking down her captors single-handedly. I am so deeply invested in this storyline right now. I completely dread the idea of Markham waking up before she can get out. I swear to you, if the writers do that classic soap trope where he suddenly opens his eyes and grabs her ankle right as she reaches the front door, I will absolutely riot. We have suffered through weeks of this kidnapping plot. We deserve a clean win here. She needs to act fast. She needs to take that locked phone, grab Markham's unconscious hand, and press his thumb against the screen to unlock it. Oh my gosh, she better do that. If she doesn't think of the thumbprint trick, I am going to scream at the TV tomorrow. Once that phone is opened, she can call the police, she can call Jack, and she can finally end this nightmare. And what about Sharon Newman and Phyllis Summers? If my theory is right, and Markham really is Martin Laurent with a new face, then Sharon and Phyllis are going to lose their minds. They survived Martin's twisted psychological clinic trapped together. They formed a trauma bond over it. If they find out he is alive, looking different, and holding Diane hostage, I know Phyllis hates Diane with a burning passion, but I genuinely think Phyllis and Sharon would team up to take this guy down once and for all. That would be the ultimate female empowerment storyline, and I am begging the writers to give it to us. I am exhausted, my heart is racing, and I cannot wait for the next episode. I know some people are complaining that this storyline is too dark, but personally, I think it is exactly the kind of high-stakes drama we need right now. Diane proving she is a fierce survivor, Patty being unhinged, and Jack fighting for his family. It is soap opera perfection. What do you guys think? Am I crazy for loving this? Let me know, because I definitely need to share this with people who get it.